See, life is a mixture of opportunity and difficulty. It's a package deal. And it's the person who learns how to navigate both, how to turn the difficulties into stepping stones and use the opportunities wisely, who finds themselves ahead of the game. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd say that's a worthwhile skill to master. Obstacles are a given. Success is not. But here's the magic. The seeds of success are often hidden in those very obstacles. Picture this. You're climbing a mountain. The path is steep. The rocks are loose, and the air gets thinner as you go higher. Now, you could look at all that and say, this is just too much. I'm turning back. Or you could say, this climb is tough, but every step takes me closer to the view from the top. Every loose rock teaches me balance. Every gasp for air builds my stamina. Same mountain, same climb. The difference is in your mindset. How we perceive an obstacle determines whether it becomes a stumbling block or a stepping stone. Tell me, how do you see the challenges in your life? Are they walls that block you, or are they ladders that help you climb higher? That's worth reflecting on, because how you answer could shape your entire future. There was a young man that I know who came to me with a heavy heart. He'd lost his job, a job he thought was secure. He was devastated. He said, "What am I going to do now?" And I told him, well, first, let's take a moment to grieve. It's okay to feel the loss. But after that, let's ask a better question. What's next? I told him that losing a job might feel like the end of the road, but it could just as easily be the beginning of a better one. That young man took the advice to heart. He didn't sit and wallow. He looked at his skills, his dreams, and the opportunities he hadn't explored because he'd been so focused on staying in his comfort zone. Long story short, that obstacle turned into the launch pad for a career he never imagined he could have. He didn't just land on his feet, he soared. And it all started with a change in perspective. You see, challenges have a way of revealing strengths we didn't know we had. They test our resilience, stretch our creativity, and force us to grow. Now, I won't sugarcoat it. Growth can be painful. It's not easy to be pushed out of your comfort zone. But isn't it interesting that the comfort zone is never where the magic happens? Think about it. Have you ever achieved something extraordinary while staying perfectly comfortable? I'd bet the answer is no. Here's another angle to consider. Obstacles are like weights in a gym. When you first pick up that heavy dumbbell, your muscles protest. They ache. But over time, as you keep lifting, those same muscles grow stronger. The resistance is what builds the strength. Life works the same way. The obstacles we face are resistance, and by pushing through them, we build the muscle of character. Some people look at a storm and see nothing but destruction. Others see the chance to rebuild stronger, better, more prepared. Which one are you? Because how you see it will dictate how you respond to it. And don't forget, some obstacles aren't meant to be conquered right away. Sometimes the best course of action is to step back, reassess, and try a different approach. Remember, a river doesn't fight against the rock in its path. It flows around it. Over time, the river shapes the rock, not by force, but by persistence. That's a powerful lesson in patience and adaptability. Two men found themselves stranded in a desert. Both carried the same amount of water, the same supplies, and faced the same scorching sun. The first guy looked around and thought, there's no way out of this. It's hopeless. I might as well sit here and wait for the end. And so he did, exhausting his resources without taking action. The second guy, faced with the same bleak circumstances, thought, this is tough, no doubt about it. But if I conserve my resources, keep moving, and look for signs of life, I might find a way out. He rationed his water, paid attention to the horizon, and eventually stumbled upon a caravan that rescued him. Now think about that. Both men started in the same place, with the same resources. The difference wasn't in their circumstances, it was in their mindset. One gave up before he began, and the other believed there was still a chance, no matter how slim. That belief drove action, and that action created a different result. The lesson here? A positive mindset doesn't guarantee success, but it dramatically increases your chances. A negative mindset, on the other hand, guarantees failure because it keeps you from even trying. Your perspective shapes your actions, and your actions shape your outcomes. So ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? What's the opportunity hidden here? The key is to develop the habit of asking better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I do about this? Or, what's the lesson here? Better questions lead to better answers. Better answers lead to better results. And don't forget the role of discipline. Facing obstacles takes more than just optimism. It takes effort, grit, and persistence. You have to show up, even when it's hard, even when it feels like you're not making progress. I'm telling you, there's nothing like persistence to wear down a challenge. Think of a farmer planting seeds. He doesn't see results overnight. He doesn't dig up the seeds every day to check on them. He trusts the process, waters the soil, and waits. Obstacles are like that. They take time to overcome. But if you keep working, keep believing, and keep moving forward, the harvest will come. Sometimes the obstacle itself holds the key to overcoming it. There's an old story about a king who placed a boulder in the middle of a busy road. People walked around it, complained about it, and cursed the king for not clearing the path. But one day a man came along and decided to move the boulder. Underneath it, he found a bag of gold and a note from the king saying, "The obstacle in your path is also an opportunity." It's a reminder that challenges often come with hidden rewards. But only those who are willing to face the challenge discover them. Think about an obstacle you're facing right now. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today to move closer to a solution? Whatever it is, take that first step. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be forward. And you can't overlook the importance of perspective. When you're in the middle of a challenge, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. That's why it helps to step back and look at the bigger picture. Ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? 5 years from now? Sometimes the obstacle that feels so enormous today is just a small bump in the grand scheme of things. Another powerful tool is gratitude. It might sound strange to talk about being grateful when facing obstacles, but it's one of the most effective ways to shift your mindset. When you focus on what you're grateful for, even in the midst of difficulty, you find the strength to keep going. Being grateful doesn't make the problem disappear, but it changes how you see it. Remember, too, that you're not alone in this journey. Life's challenges are universal. Everyone faces them. Some people face them with fear and retreat. Others face them with courage and advance. Which group do you want to belong to? When you decide to face obstacles with courage, you inspire others to do the same. Your example can be a beacon of hope for someone else. So don't underestimate the ripple effect of your perseverance. Life is a series of hills and valleys. You'll have times when everything seems to go your way, and times when it feels like the world is against you. But in both situations, your response is what matters most. Will you let the good times make you complacent? Will you let the hard times break you? Or will you use every experience, good and bad, to become stronger, wiser, and better equipped for the journey ahead? Keep this in mind. You are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you give yourself credit for. And the obstacles you face today are shaping the person you'll become tomorrow. Don't wish for an easier path. Wish for the strength to walk the one you're on. And then take the next step, and the next, and the next. Have you ever noticed how a diamond is formed? It starts as a lump of coal, buried deep beneath the earth, under unimaginable pressure and heat. Over time, that pressure transforms the coal into something extraordinary, a diamond. The same principle applies to us. The pressures of life, the heat of challenges, they're uncomfortable, sure, but they have the potential to refine us into something far greater than we were before. The key is to endure the process and trust the outcome. Sometimes the obstacle isn't outside of us, it's inside. Fear, doubt, procrastination. These are internal barriers that can be just as formidable as any external challenge. But here's the good news. Because they're internal, they're within your control. You can challenge your doubts, face your fears, and take action despite them. You see, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's taking action in spite of it. How many of us procrastinate? Have you ever caught yourself saying, I'll start tomorrow? But tomorrow turns into next week, next month, next year. Meanwhile, the obstacle looms larger and larger, not because it's actually grown, but because your lack of action has given it power. Action is the antidote to procrastination. Even a small step can break the cycle and build momentum. I knew a man who dreamed of running a marathon, but he wasn't a runner. In fact, he wasn't even in good shape. The thought of running 26 miles was overwhelming. But instead of focus, saw. If you try to cut down a tree with a dull blade, you'll wear yourself out without making much progress. But if you take the time to sharpen the blade, the work becomes easier and more effective. The same is true for you. When you're overwhelmed, exhausted, or burned out, your ability to think creatively and solve problems diminishes. So don't underestimate the value of rest. It's not laziness, it's preparation. It's sharpening the saw so you can tackle the obstacle more effectively. And you also got to have faith. Whether you call it faith in yourself, faith in a higher power, or faith in the process, belief is a powerful force. When you believe that the obstacle can be overcome, you're more likely to find a way to overcome it. But when you convince yourself that it's impossible, you've already lost the battle. Now, faith isn't a substitute for action. It's not about sitting back and hoping for a miracle. It's about combining belief with effort. When you do that, amazing things start to happen. doors open, opportunities appear. Solutions reveal themselves. Think about the Wright brothers. At the time, the idea of human flight was considered impossible. They faced skeptics, failures, and technical challenges at every turn. But they had faith in their vision, faith in their ability to solve the problems in front of them. And because of that faith, they persisted. And today, their impossible dream is a reality. Every breakthrough in history started as an obstacle. The key is to see the obstacle for what it really is, an opportunity in disguise. It's an opportunity to grow, to learn, to innovate, and to prove to yourself what you're capable of. So when life throws a challenge your way, don't shy away from it. Embrace it. Ask yourself, what's the lesson here? How can this make me better, stronger, wiser? And then take action. Because the only way to overcome an obstacle is to move toward it. Remember, the difference between stumbling blocks and stepping stones is how you use them. So let's make a decision today, right here, right now. Let's decide to use every challenge as a stepping stone to something greater. Let's decide to see obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities waiting to be uncovered. Because once you make that decision, there's no limit to what you can achieve.